12 years later, Titanic creator James Cameron yet again delivers a great science fiction spectacle with the usual tropes and cliches of a good guy who must overcome a battle with his own morals to do what's right, but somehow making it all work beautifully. So after being in Pandora for 3 hours, I finally have my verdict, and all I can tell you that it's no less than amazing. The story follows a handicapped Marine who replaces his deceased twin brother on a unique mission, but soon finds himself struggling between following orders and protecting a world he feels is his home. His aim? To persuade the Navis to clear way for humans to mine their homes and obtain a valuable mineral. However, things take a turn when he falls in love with the Navi princess, Neytiri, and is eventually drawn into a battle with his own race for the survival of her world. As the planet's environment is poisonous, the human-Navi hybrids called the Avatars must link to human minds to allow for free movement on Pandora, which is one, if not the main focus of the film. Yes, this may sound like a good old love story, but at the same time it's also one drowned in conflict and sacrifice. However, this one in particular calls for an investment of your emotions. Many people say that by the time the actual conflict happens, you're going to be on the very edge of your seat, so emotionally attached. But I'd have to disagree. In fact, your sentimental connection starts way before the end. I mean, you spend all the time learning about one of the most spectacular civilizations ever put on reel. You live their emotions, their journeys. You're absolutely with them. To say the least, there are moments in the film that will make your heart clench with sorrow and happiness and will make you want to get up and join the fight yourself. Now, let's talk about the technical and artistic choices and how they add up to the ever so extraordinary film. Well, the story may seem familiar, but the world Cameron has created is certainly not. Avatar still is a visual feast. The shot composition, the color balance, and the overall look of the film is absolutely stunning. The character and creature design is gorgeous. Landscape and botany are spellbinding. And if there's one thing that James Cameron absolutely nails, is creating a sense of magic about the world. He made sure that the audience got nothing less than dazzling frames rich with vibrant colors and exceptional cinematography, with some remarkable moments of contrast and shots being bathed in unifying hues. Yet despite this vibrance, Avatar never feels like we have stepped into a cartoon. It is evident that Cameron has poured his heart and soul into this masterpiece, breaking through the motion capture tech frontier with state-of-the-art CGI. I mean, he creates an entire fictional planet that truly captivates your mind into believing that yes, there are flying dragons that can be controlled with your mind somewhere out there in the universe. To our surprise, there are no big names in the cast, but that does not mean that the characters that they played aren't worthy of appreciation. Sam Worthington as Jake Sully and Zoe Saldana as Neytiri brew up a romance chronicle, something created in contrast to the barbaric and macabre nature of Colonel Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang, who knows only violence and believes that the only way to deal with the Navis is to eradicate them completely. His character will make you lose faith in humanity, and it's safe to say you'll have fun hating him on screen. Sigourney Weaver also managed to gain applause for bringing her all in a grounded performance, and Laz Alonso, who gives us one of the most chilling and mournful scenes, which I don't know about everyone, but it surely did leave me grief-stricken. Diving into the shortcomings. For as sharp a film Avatar is with its visual language, the film's somatic focus is somewhat fuzzy. It is, to some extent, a sizzler with half-baked themes, none of which is explored or addressed meticulously. We have got pro-environment and anti-capitalism messaging with nods of spirituality and togetherness, connotations pointing to mass genocide and conflict similar to the ones in countries like Iran and Vietnam. But the issue here is that they are not plumbed in any complex way, which may leave some viewers feeling somewhat unsatisfied. While the majority agree that Avatar uses its sci-fi plot as a metaphor to give voice to our fears of the future and sets a great example of showing how we will fail in our efforts to eventually create a world full of destruction, some argue that it supports a racist theme of a white hero yet again saving the primitive natives. However, I believe to view it from the perspective that pits greedy, immoral humans against noble inhabitants and follows a message that all living is connected, and those who intend to exploit it rather than respect it will only destroy themselves. I mean, for once, it's refreshing to see humans as the invaders instead of the aliens, with nothing about it to despise. In conclusion, Avatar is about a race of humanoids that could not be more alien from us, and yet, by about halfway through the film, it manages to completely convince us of their realism, their plight, and their humanity. While I agree that there are sequences that are truly awe-inspiring, and even some of the messaging is well intended, there are a quite few undermining thorny issues to acknowledge in the movie. To say the least, this movie did what it set out to do perfectly, and maybe even better, in sending you on a visual and emotional roller coaster, and towards the end, leaving you wanting more of Pandora. Without much exaggeration, this movie is a great cinematic experience, ahead of its time, that will leave you spellbound in all the best ways possible. So if you haven't seen Avatar, then you should go watch it as soon as possible. A great science fiction adventure from a master filmmaker. Oh, and for the ones who have already undergone its enchantment, here's the good news for you. There are 4 more sequels lined up, with one releasing this very December. Thank you all for watching my review, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now let me go back to finding more movies to binge watch. I'll see you guys next time.